Yikes. The Flash fumbled massively at the box office. What happened? Plus, I never got to give a proper review. It's time to talk spoilers, cameos, and much more. Welcome to Movie World Plus, a place where we talk movies. I'm Andy Signore, and today I'm going to break down The Flash and its box office disaster. My goodness, $55 million for 3 days, guys, is terrible for a blockbuster that costs this much. Now, what happened? I'll talk about my review in a little bit. We'll get there. I want to break down my thoughts as to why, because a lot of people are out there just blaming Ezra, saying, oh, it's people don't want to support Ezra. And then there's some weird reports. Oh, it's because he's non-binary. I don't believe any of that has anything to do with it. His problematic behavior did affect the marketing, and I'll get to that in a second. But I think the bigger problem is no one knows who Ezra Miller is. As we reported on these issues and the things that Ezra did, my goodness, bloop, no one cares. No one cared. No one knew who Ezra was. Ezra's not a movie star. And Ezra's a huge part of this movie. And you need someone to put in this movie who's going to be likable, who the audience is going to get connected to, root for, is going to be out doing tons of interviews and press. And the reality is they couldn't put Ezra out there. But more so, I think the problematic behavior affected the fact that even Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck, Sasha, the Supergirl, none of them could go out there and promote, because if they did, all the questions are going to be about, well, what about Ezra? What about Ezra? Do you support what Ezra did? Should Ezra be... That became the narrative. And yes, that absolutely affected the film because they couldn't market it and do it the way that they were supposed to. So I give Warner Brothers some slack because they had a very difficult time, task ahead of themselves to try and get this movie out. And they spent a fortune on it. This was a very expensive movie, and they spent a ton on marketing. But that's where they went wrong. To me, the biggest problem with this is they showed it way too early to people. Not only critics like us. I saw it back in April in Vegas at CinemaCon. It's why I went to CinemaCon to see this film. And I'm glad I did, because I got to see it before everybody else did and then started ruining it. Even the film's director was spoiling the big cameos weeks before its release. It made no sense. So not only did you have all the marketing unable to put Ezra or the cast members out there in fun interviews and things, they had to give you clips, and they kept showing more and more of Michael Keaton's Batman. And so the mystery, the surprise, the excitement did start to wear off by trailer 3 when a lot of these clips had already been out there. And then you add in all the people who've seen it, the reviews for months have been out. It almost felt like the film had already been released. And then you had everybody spoiling it, literally headlines from trade articles ruining the film. All of this was feeding the nerd audience that would go see this film. Then you had more screenings. You had, advanced screenings to get the word out, to start the buzz. And I think that was a massive mistake on their part. This is a niche movie. The Flash is a secondary character starring a actor who's not, the most famous actor. Let's keep it a buck, right? Ezra Miller's not known across America. And so you have this actor who's not very famous, who can't even do press. And then you have this character that they don't really connect to. And then you got all these cameos that really only the nerds are going to care about. And then you're basically giving the hardcore audience free test screenings before the release, like all over the country. People who would have paid to see it at opening night, first weekend, get to see it early. And then what happens? They don't like it as much as they're supposed to. James Gunn and DC go out there and hype it as the best movie, it's comic book movie of all time. What? Not even close. Not even in the top 10. I don't know what they were thinking. They overhyped this film. They overscreened this film way too early. And they expected that word of mouth to just create this buzz that everybody out there is going to want to go see this movie. And nobody wanted to see the movie. This was opening weekend. Even the 55 million lead heavily male, well below the what they thought it was going to be. And the scores were terrible. The scores from the audience meter, the scores from CinemaScore, 77% ComScore, 59% recommend. Bad buzz, male heavy, not pulling in as many women as Aquaman or Wonder Woman did, slowing it down. All this came to hurt it. And you see like Captain America, Thor, all did better openings. Black Adam, which everyone's calling this massive failure, and dunking on the rock, did terribly. The Flash is going to do worse. That is a huge problem. And again, it's hard to not see this as anything but Warner Brothers just not knowing what to do. And that's where it does get connected to Ezra. I think the Ezra problem made it more complicated. So did the writer's strike, right? You can't have Ben Affleck out on Jimmy Kimmel and stuff like you typically would to promote this film because all of them are shut down. And then even if they go somewhere else more risky, so what do you think about Ezra? What do you think about Ezra? This was a problem for Warner Brothers. And then you had a movie that they knew wasn't as good, or at least they thought they had bad taste. James Gunn now seems like he has bad taste by saying this is the best superhero movie he's ever seen. Dude, what? What? I can't get over that. It's like hard to trust him now. You're going to be that much of a shill in your new job that you're going to lie. There are a million things you could have said to not be that hyped and still try to really help make this movie sell. It was the dumbest quotes I've seen. Anyway, all of that hurt. And then at the end of the day, because of the secondary character, with the buzz being very mediocre, I think that's ultimately what really killed this movie. You know, medium word of mouth, everything already out there, all the cameos ruined. What's left to really see? I don't need to see this film. I'll wait till it's streaming. It's not that good. People aren't loving it as much as they're hyping it. And I think that's ultimately what happened. And I'm curious. I want to hear your comments down below. Did you see the film or did you do that? Did you avoid it because the spoilers and the buzz and the word of mouth ultimately just made you think, I'll wait to see it later or just skip it? Because I feel like that's ultimately what happened. And then your hardcore nerd audience that should be there opening weekend already saw it or already had it spoiled that they thought, I don't need to go. Massive failure. You got to lift this up, keep the mystery, keep the Michael Keaton mystery going. First trailer was brilliant. That's all they should have done. And then hype, tease. Batman's back. Hype Batman like that. You're not going to miss this reveal. Keaton is back. See it in action. And I think they would have had a bigger opening. Instead, they overplayed their hand. They over-exaggerated. And Ezra's drama didn't help matters at all. And I got to say, I think Ezra is now toast. I think Ezra's toast. I'm curious what you guys think in the comments. This movie, if it had performed, I think Ezra might have been able to get a redemption arc. But I can't see any studio wanting to attach themselves to them because they cause so much drama unnecessarily to such an expensive temple. And while the director was very polite and nice, I think all of that were doing that, and they were singing Ezra's praises in an attempt to spin the cycle, the news, to get people to ignore it and go support this film, and they just didn't. I don't think the drama is what kept them away, but the drama complicated things. And at the end of the day, I think Warner Brothers is going to remember that, and they're going to be pissed at Ezra for how much drama was around this film that shouldn't have been. How do you create so much drama? Ezra is like it's insane. It's insane. All the accusations, the cults, everything, and beyond that, like sure, I don't know what's going on with Ezra. Ezra has apologized, so Ezra's acknowledging the behavior wasn't right. But a lot of the trades in the studio were ignoring a lot of the big complaints that I have, the question marks I have. Though, the G word, if I'm my beard, I'm, not the bride, that word. That's the stuff that's problematic to me. And again, I just need more like, what did we follow through on that? What happened? Even the parents of the alleged, person at hand, I got to be careful about what I say here, seemingly disappeared. Were they just paid off? What's going on? I don't know, man. It's a weird story. At the end of the day, though, I think Ezra's going to pay for it. What studio is going to want to invest in them? Knowing that not only does you attach the drama, but you don't deliver. You don't deliver at all. There's no audience base that's excited to see an Ezra Miller movie, clearly, because this movie, with all its marketing power, blip. Now, what did I think of the film? Ultimately, my review, look, it's soured. I got to be honest, that week after, it soured. There was a high feeling of, oh my gosh, that was crazy. And yes, spoiler alert, seeing Christopher Reeves, I have these pictures, there's leaked images. I don't want to show them because I don't want to get in trouble. Seeing, Christopher Reeves and Helen Slater, I wasn't like bothered by it. I'm desensitized to seeing that. We've brought back Fred Astaire selling vacuums. I assume his estate cleared it. I was more bothered by how bad the CGI was than the fact that they were there. It just looked bad. And I thought, honestly, it was going to be re-rendered. Or maybe we had saw an earlier effects. They sort of told us that. I thought, they're going to fix that. This is just, the animatic isn't done. And no, it was the same. It was the same. The only thing we didn't see was Clooney. And I'm looking at it now. I watched it on other means. Why did Ezra's tooth fall out? Did I miss it? I missed it. And it's funny, but it sort of sums up the thing in itself. Like, would have been a cool good surprise, but got spoiled. Everyone already had put it out there before the film had come out, annoyingly. But is he now the Batman? I don't think so, which just makes the whole movie feel unnecessary. Like, this is all apparently wraps up that. Yeah, there's a multiverse. Yeah, he ran through. Yeah. But there it is. Now you saw what Keaton and Clooney's Batman have been up to, I guess. It just all kind of felt unnecessary, where I thought the Flashpoint story could have been used to really set the tone for the future. I'm just more confused. Like the Nicolas Cage cameo, I was like, what? Whoa, cool. Aside from the bad video game effects, it looked like. I was like, whoa, that's fun. That's cool. But does it make sense? Okay, yeah, cool. It's like we're bridging together all the world. George Reeves was there. They wanted us to make it clear, like, here, it's all connected. And yeah, cool. But we kind of got that already with Spider-Man. We know it. Spider-Verse is crushing that multiverse plotline way better. Was that the best use of all these people? Like, if we're going to go there, go there. Like, why couldn't Nicolas Cage have been in the movie more? You know, I don't know. Just, that's the problem with these multiverse things now. And Marvel's, don't get me wrong, Marvel's really starting to lose it for me. But the expectations become better than what you actually get. And cameos don't make a movie. At the end of the day, I stand by the fact that my review of, it's like there's 3 Ezras in this movie. There's that first sort of weird, nerdy, autistic, by the book, annoying Ezra. And then he meets his doofus Ezra, which I really didn't like, the doofus one from the past. It's like too dumb of a character. And he's trying to play it so dumb. But then the nerdy beginning Ezra suddenly becomes this mature, smarter Ezra. And I liked that character, but it made no sense connected to the beginning of the film. And so it was hard to connect to the Flash character. Problematic stuff aside, I know some of you can't, that's your right, but trying to like separate the art from the artist, Ezra does a good job at times, it does do a good job at times, but from a writing standpoint, it was just, it didn't connect to me the same. It just didn't. Still the derpy run and the stuff that just, it's better. Ezra was better, but ultimately this movie is all about the Flash. You gotta love and be invested in the Flash. And I just wasn't as much as I wanted to. I liked the mom plot at the end. It got me emotional. It didn't full on make me cry, but it's the Flashpoint story and the mother sort of giving him the hug. It's a moment. But yeah, it just didn't hit me as much as Gunn and everybody hyped it to be. Overhyped. Didn't sit with me. It doesn't stay with me where I want to rewatch it. And we've come to a place with movies where it's like everyone just wants to spoil and just crap on it. This is the big cameo. Does this save the movie? How about we watch the movie and find out? And I'm guilty of it in my past. I'm the one who broke the news that the Spider-Men were all going to be in the movie, which even Marvel, to their credit, didn't reveal throughout the whole theatrical run. And it was the biggest movie of the year. It just proves to you why you don't want to show everything in your marketing. If a film is showing you everything, they're nervous. They don't know what else to do. And so that's what this was. Ultimately, Warner Brothers out there hyping it as the best movie of the year. The reaction's very mid. B. Like, it's good, okay. And you gave all the way these free tickets to the nerds who would have paid opening weekend. Dummies. And then you got a whole new environment that James Gunn's creating, making all of this feel irrelevant to the people who are actually interested. Like the DC fans who would have maybe gone and saw this and paid more are like, why waste my time? This doesn't even really count. Which is so sad because Flashpoint should have been the ultimate opener for James Gunn's universe. Yeah, I'm nervous about James Gunn's DC. I'll be honest. I'm going to go give it a shot. I want a good Superman movie. But man, he just got me ultra nervous with all his comments and everything else about this. The reality of The Flash is it's not the best movie of all time, superhero movie of all time by any stretch of the imagination. And if this is what James Gunn thinks is, we're in trouble. Overall, like, I think the movie has fun parts. I don't want to go. Michael Keaton, it was so good to see him back. I just wish we could have gotten as our own Michael Keaton movie. I would have preferred that. That's the No Way Home. Like, I like Tom Holland's Spider-Man, so that made it fun to root for him as he meets the other ones. I wasn't rooting for Ezra. That's the difference here. And nobody, I think, was. This was a person nobody cared about, no one knew about, setting up this expectation of, oh, here's the Flash meeting up the icon that we all love. Yay! There he's our Batman. Who's this Flash guy again? Oh, okay. Yay! That's the movie for me. A lot of good ideas. Some stuff not really fully pushed as well as I think it could have been. And a lead that just, I don't think anyone can really connect us to. That's ultimately why I think it crashed. Overhyped, overscreened. And it's sad because I was really rooting for this one. Man, that's a really bad box office. We'll see how it nets out. I think next weekend's going to be even worse because the word of mouth is now. Anybody who didn't go see it because they're like, it's been spoiled for me, I feel like is now going to be like, I guess I was right. Really don't need to see it now. Man, what a sad state for the DC. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell for alerts, smash that like button, and leave your comments. Do you disagree with me? Did you love it? Did you love the cameos? Were they good enough effects? Tell us all your thoughts down below. I'll make sure to give you more movie content when I can here on Movie World Plus, so please subscribe.